to the ruling?
Our reaction to the ruling is that we're disappointed. It's not the ruling that we expected. It's not the ruling we hoped for. We have a lot of information to take in. We have to talk amongst ourselves to decide what the next step is. As you've heard, there is a stay in place. So we have some time to plan our next move. And if I get instructions from my clients to commence an appeal, then that's what we'll do. Alors, on est surpris par la décision. Ce n'est pas la décision qu'on voulait, qu'on pensait qui aurait été donnée par Monsieur le juge aujourd'hui. On a beaucoup d'informations à discuter, à faire de la recherche, parler avec mes clients, parler avec d'autres experts et puis décider c'est quoi la prochaine étape.
Mr. Goldman, how do you feel?
We are really disappointed, but I don't think the spirit of the community going to go on regularly. We do think that these two families just victims. The whole story is just against the community, but we're going to do all legal avenues that are open to appeal this decision.
The judge was very critical of your decision to flee in the middle of the night.
We said again and again that it was a very well organized moving, and I was by myself traveling so many times in Ontario to plan this movement beforehand, and it was at night because this was the easiest time to do that, and we was cooperative. I think would never claims that our community didn't cooperate with the investigation.
But do you now think that was a bad idea given what the judge said?
No, I do think exactly the opposite. We're very happy here, and we established our community here, and we just have to help these two families.
And the judge seems to suggest that that move in the middle of the night was creating harm for the children.
Meanwhile, we're not going to comment.
Right, we don't want to comment. Those are findings that were made by the judge. So we're not about to make specific comments on any appealable issues. That's a finding of fact. Maybe it was an error, maybe it was not. I want to just ask that you respect my client's right not to comment on any specifics so that they're not prejudiced should they take an appeal. La prochaine étape, c'est en fait il faut réviser, faire une révision de le jugement. Il y a beaucoup de choses, beaucoup de décisions de fait et décisions légales qui ont été données par Monsieur le juge aujourd'hui. Donc, il y a beaucoup de recherche et de travail à faire pour savoir si en fait on a une cause légitime pour faire un appel.
Quels sont les avenues d'appel pour M. Knowles? Je comprends que vous n'allez pas nous dire tous vos secrets, là.
C'est pas des secrets, c'est simplement on veut pas préjudicier nos clients. Tu sais, c'est pas secret, c'est que on veut pas que on fait la litige dans la média.
Mais d'une manière générale, vous devez déjà sentir un peu dans quel coin vous allez aller?
Non.
What's the reaction of the community?
We have to see how we can.
What are they saying, telling you when you phone them?
Everybody's very angry. It was understanding from the beginning that we have a fight, and we just in the front line for this fight against the forcing to have secular curriculum for the religious community, and we're more than happy that if we're going to be helpful for others, but meanwhile we have just to continue defending the families, that the children could be kept with themselves, the families.
Do you feel your fight is against the Quebec government?
We're not fighting against, we're just fighting in favor for our religion and other religious groups to have the possibility to have religious studies as our education.
So your fight is against the way the Quebec government is applying their law?
I mean, each one have to understand. We have a Canadian Charter of Rights, of freedom of religion, and we do think that it was given properly addressed in Quebec. There's a lot of schools in court out there, and so.
Just to add to your question, though, the decision which resulted in the children being returned was a decision by Justice Upheld that did not deal with any of those issues. So, just to clarify that, I mean, it's important to recognize that the reason why the children are being sent back is because there's a decision from a Quebec court judge that this judge here in Ontario has agreed to recognize and enforce. I just think it's important to note that there is an appeal of that decision being taken place in Quebec. My understanding, I believe, is that appeal is to take place on February 20th. So that should answer some of the questions about, you know, what is it that's being appealed? What are the underlying reasons here?
Can we talk about those overlapping appeals, by the way? What happens with as far as the appeal process goes on? You said February 20th in Quebec, but there's also the 30-day stay here.
Right.
Can you sort of give us some education here on exactly how that all plays out?
Well, I can't comment exactly on what is going to happen on February 20th in Quebec because I'm not licensed. I don't practice in that jurisdiction. If that's the date that the appeal is set to be heard, assuming that's the case, if that appeal is successful and there is a decision to overturn the lower court's ruling and say there is no jurisdiction, that would make any provisional orders or subsequent orders, such as the order that resulted in the children being returned, being essentially null and void. So there is a chance that if that appeal is successful in Quebec during this 30-day stay, it probably renders any appeal here moot.
So are you planning to wait until the end of the 30 days?
No, I mean, I think we need to act as if we don't know what the result is going to be in Quebec. So in order to protect my client's rights, we need to start working if we take an appeal.
You haven't decided yet?
No, we just received the judgment. There's a lot in there, so we need to decide whether there are actually any appealable issues.
Mr. Goldman, when you get back to the community tonight, what are you going to say to the families? What are you going to say to everybody?
To stay strong, we really believe that justice, at least the appeal, justifies decision. We do claim again and again all the allegations against us are false. We're talking about investigation of 18 months with a very serious allegation. See, allegation like this have to be proven on the first visit. After so many months, hundreds, if not thousands of hours were spent by officials, why nothing have been found? And we do feel persecuted. We do think there's harassment out there. It have to be with the fact that we have a Jewish religious group. When we hear in Quebec in the last month or so, by the new liberal leader saying openly that it might be the premier from Quebec for the next elections, that groups like Lev Tahor are not welcomed in Quebec. We feel disturbed for such statements, and that's the reason that we have left Quebec, and we're very happy here in Chatham, and we want to thank to all the great people from Chatham for the whole support for this 2.5 months. It's unbelievable, so much support from people, even today.
Should we understand that you're not planning another move now?
Absolutely not. We're very, very happy. I mean, now we understand what was the plan in Quebec. A director for DYP in Quebec told us, we're not going to apprehend your children because of education, because we're going to have bad media coverage. In other words, he told us we must find something against you beside the education. Otherwise, it's going to be questioned by the public. How come Quebec doing such stuff? So we feel that we really in a not an easy position, but we hope we can be strong here for the future.
So you are going to appeal even if Mr. Knowles doesn't take the appeal?
Yeah, absolutely, we're going to appeal that.
Are the children in the community now, or
Yes.
they're going to stay there?
For sure.
The judge also said gave the Chatham-Kent authorities, child protection authorities the ability to, go visit the community announced, unannounced? Are you going to cooperate?
They did it till now. Did it on daily basis for 2.5 months, and they said from the beginning that we are cooperative. They didn't have any claim that we not cooperating and not opening our doors. Sometimes they was giving us a name, a list of children. We want to talk to them in this place here, and in 2 hours, all these children brought to them, speaking privately with all the investigators here. So.
Monsieur Knowles, la dernière fois, vous aviez mentionné la Charte des valeurs québécoises et peut-être un climat politique au Québec qui n'est pas vraiment, qui mise pas beaucoup sur les accommodements religieux. Et là, le juge semble avoir écarté complètement cet argument. Comment vous réagissez?
C'est dommage, c'est pas la première fois qu'un juge n'était pas en accord avec mes soumissions. Donc, c'est pourquoi on a ici des droits d'appel. Parce que si M. le juge Fuerth a été en fait incorrect avec sa décision sur cette raison ou n'importe quelle autre raison, ben, on espère que la Cour d'appel va faire la bonne décision.
Est-ce que vous continuez de penser que le climat politique au Québec est peut-être pas favorable justement à accommoder...
Bien, certainement, ça peut changer. D'après moi, il n'y a pas une décision de ne pas implémenter la charte. Alors, si on continue dans la direction, ben oui, c'est ça, c'est une décision, c'est une politique par le gouvernement de décider que les droits religieux sont moins importants.